Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Let's jump right into Chapter 2 of our psychometry journey, covering measurement versus testing. Today, we're going to uncover something pretty amazing: how psychologists actually take subjective, everyday opinions and transform them into hard scientific evidence. Because if you've ever wondered how on earth we can truly quantify human behavior, well, you are definitely in the right place.
Section 1. Opinions versus scientific evidence. We are going to kick things off with a very simple scenario, one that perfectly highlights the core challenge of psychology.
I want you to imagine two teachers talking about the exact same student. One of them says, Ria scored 92 out of 100. The other one says, Ria is an intelligent student. So which statement is a measurement and which is a judgment? I'll give you a second to think about it. It's actually pretty clear, isn't it? That score of 92, that's an objective measurement. But calling someone intelligent, well, that is a subjective judgment. And honestly, psychology faces this exact challenge every single day. How do we move from these loose, everyday opinions to actual scientific evidence? The secret lies in understanding two really powerful concepts: measurement and testing.
To really get how this works, let's look at the physical world for a moment. In our daily lives, we use specific, standardized tools to get objective numbers, right? I mean, we measure height using a measuring tape, we measure weight using a weighing scale, we measure body temperature using a thermometer. These tools give us concrete, undeniable numbers.
But here is the tricky part. Can we measure intelligence with a measuring tape? Obviously not. Can we weigh anxiety on a scale? Can we calculate personality using a thermometer? No way. The human mind is invisible. And because the things we want to study are invisible, psychology requires its very own, totally unique scientific methods of measurement. That brings us to Section 2. What is measurement?
In psychology, we have to assume that attributes like intelligence or working memory exist in some real quantity that can be measured, even if we literally can't see them. So instead of using a physical scale, psychologists have to figure out ways to assign numbers to abstract concepts. Think of it like taking an invisible cloud of feelings or thoughts and pinning it down as a concrete, objective data point on a graph.
So if we're speaking formally, measurement is the process of assigning numbers or symbols to psychological characteristics according to predefined rules. And a huge, absolutely crucial thing to remember here is that measurement itself does not make any judgments. It doesn't care if a score is quote-unquote good or bad. It just gives us a numerical representation to work with. It's literally just the numbers.
All right, Section 3. What is testing? Because if measurement just gives us numbers, how do we actually gather those numbers reliably out in the real world?
According to the American Psychological Association, testing is a highly standardized, formal procedure. Their definition states that a psychological test is any standardized instrument used to measure behavior or mental attributes. So we're not talking about those casual personality quizzes you might find scrolling online. This is a rigorous scientific instrument designed to capture totally valid and reliable data.
Take a dynamometer, for instance. It's a device used to measure hand grip. Even when we're assessing something physical like that, for a time test of perceptual motor ability, we still need a completely standardized instrument to get a true measurement. Every single person taking this test has to use the exact same device in the exact same way. That standardization, it's everything.
So, we can define testing as the systematic process of administering these standardized instruments. It's the whole shebang. It includes carefully designed test items, strict administration procedures, specific ways to score it, and established guidelines for how to interpret those scores. It's a massive, systematic, scientific process that turns a bunch of questions into a genuine assessment tool.
Moving right along to Section 4. Measurement versus testing.
A lot of people actually use the words measurement and testing interchangeably, but they are absolutely different. Let's look at the core difference here. Measurement is the broader concept. It's just the rule of assigning numbers to attributes with zero judgments attached. Testing is a specific tool that actually uses measurement. Testing brings in the standardized procedures, and its whole purpose is to evaluate or classify or diagnose. Basically, measurement gets the data, but testing gives that data a purpose.
So here's your main takeaway for this part. Every single psychological test includes measurement, but not every measurement requires a complete psychological test. Think about it like this. If a researcher asks you to rate your current stress level on a scale from 1 to 10, they are measuring your stress. But if a clinical psychologist gives you a 50-question standardized diagnostic exam with norms and scoring procedures, now they are testing your stress. Big difference, right?
Which leads us to Section 5, why this difference matters.
You might be sitting there wondering, okay, why are we being so obsessed with these exact definitions? Well, without this standardized framework, psychologists would have to rely purely on subjective impressions, just opinions. But instead, they use testing to diagnose learning disabilities, compare academic achievements, predict how well someone might do at a job, classify different traits, evaluate if an intervention is working, and ultimately make rock-solid scientific decisions. It literally replaces guesswork with hard data.
And that brings us to Section 6, real-world applications. This scientific foundation isn't just theories sitting in a textbook somewhere, it's being applied everywhere. Schools use standardized testing to find learning gaps. Hospitals use neuropsychological tests to check for brain injuries. Counseling centers use them to help people plan their careers. Companies use personality tests to hire the best fit. Even professional sports teams and cutting-edge research labs rely on proper psychometric testing to maximize human potential. Measurement and testing are absolute game changers in all of these spaces.
Finally, Section 7, the foundation of psychometry.
Let's zoom out and lock in our key takeaways from this explainer. If you only remember 3 things today, make it these. Number 1, measurement assigns the numbers. It quantifies the invisible. Number 2, testing is the standardized assessment process that actually evaluates those numbers. And number 3, together they form the scientific foundation of psychometry. It's exactly how we turn opinions into evidence. Now that we know how psychologists measure things, the obvious next question is, what exactly are they measuring, and are the tests you've taken in your own life really measuring what they claim to? Well, in our next explainer, we'll explore psychological constructs, variables, and attributes, the invisible concepts that psychologists actually measure. It's going to be fascinating, and I absolutely can't wait to see you there.